Hello, clergy and laity of the Virginia Conference. I'm Bishop Sue Hopper Johnson, and I am very excited today. The announcement just went out of 2 new superintendents who will start July 1st. However, they will be sitting with the cabinet to kind of learn the ropes over the next 6 months. So they have the wonderful joy of having 2 jobs. But today I am delighted to welcome Reverend Kirk Nave, who will be the district superintendent of the Northern Virginia District, and the Reverend Beth Givens, who will be the district superintendent of the Coastal Virginia District. And I thought I'd begin just by saying that several years ago, Michigan State University they analyzed all sorts of professions, and they looked at what skill sets are needed for every profession. And they did pilots, and they did doctors, and they did veterinarians. But when they got to pastors, they were amazed at how many skills you have to be a good pastor. And it was like 80. And they really couldn't believe. And you see that, right? I mean, what job do you have to do? Public speaking and pastoral care and administration and all that. But I would think for the superintendent role, it would probably move up to about 90 things in the skill set. And I'm one of those people, there's a lot of folks who think that bishops and DSs are just figureheads and they just show up. But the reality is they're very complex jobs and you need a lot of skill sets. And so that's why I invited nominations from throughout the annual conference for people who they had seen in the skill set. And I gave a list of the skills I think are needed. And Beth and Kirk both top of the list. I mean, multiple. I was like, okay. But that's what I was looking for, because I think that a lot of the integrity and the buy-in of the annual conference is the integrity of the superintendents. And I think the whole system is built on, well, what I don't have at the cabinet table is knowledge of clergy and churches, right? Because I'm dropped in like an alien. And so what I need first and foremost from DS is folks who have lived in the annual conference, who know clergy, who Board of Ordained Ministry is very helpful because you kind of know the whole line of folks, and also administrative parts like you did GCFA and other things in the annual conference. So you're not coming in cold to how an annual conference works. But also I'm looking for people who have the confidence of the vast majority of the clergy and laity of the annual conference, because I need you to walk in from day one, not just with knowledge that I need, but with folks who are impressed by you, who know you're people of integrity. Oh, don't smirk. You instill confidence through a lifetime of service. And so I really feel like both of you have instilled confidence for a lifetime of service. So I thought I'd ask you today, as I welcome you, you've watched DSs your whole lives. I mean, that's one thing. From day one in ministry, you have a DS. What qualities have you appreciated, and what would you like to bring to the office that you think is important?
One of the first things, I remember back when I started in ministry and how I looked to the district superintendent for that mentor role, lead me in what do I need to know, help me get the basic skills when I was just starting out. Yeah, that's one of the things.
I've also, over the years, really appreciated the superintendents who were willing to hold me accountable and willing to hold the church accountable for fruitful ministry, for making hard choices. I've really appreciated the DSs that I've gone to, and I've said, all right, I'm going to pitch this crazy idea to this congregation, but I think we really need to do this, and they've backed me.
Yeah.
And that has been really helpful in the midst of risk-taking ministry sometimes.
Well, I think that's how, I laugh. A lot of you know Michael Beck, and he was one of my, he was a brand new pastor in Florida. And part of the role of the DS is to have their back. And I went into his church. I said, you need to listen to this guy. If you don't want to listen to this guy, you're free to go to any other church. But he's going to do something with this church. Yeah. So I think that the pastors want that, right? You don't want to feel like you're hanging out to dry.
That's right.
Yeah. And I think as time has gone by, we've really started emphasizing the missional strategist. How do you deploy? How do we, for too long, I think we worried more about the people in the pews than the people outside the pews. Yeah. So how do we connect with people to introduce them to Jesus? How do we do that? So what kind of gets your juices flowing as you think about the role? Because I invited you, and you've had time to think about this for a little while. So
Mhm.
kind of what excites you the most?
Well, there's the rich diversity of Northern Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
As you talk about reaching new people for Jesus Christ, and we have to come up with new ways to do that. There are some congregations that are already doing some really intriguing and creative things in Northern Virginia. I just look forward to coming alongside of that, supporting them, learning from them, and also maybe taking that 50,000-foot view of Northern Virginia. Okay, where are the pockets where we might reap even more fruit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's part of what really excites me.
Yeah.
And you have appointed me to a district that stretches from Maryland to North Carolina.
Well, hey,
So thanks.
Yeah. A lot of good meditation time in the car.
That's right. But the Eastern Shore and the South side of the Bay have very different cultures, and so I'm going to need to spend some time paying attention to what those cultures are, learning those cultures, and as Kirk said, learning the pockets of opportunity. Where are the places where the Spirit is inviting us into the community?
Right.
We are in the south side of the Bay. We're in a highly transient area because of the military community. So lots of opportunity there. I can't wait to learn more about the culture of the Eastern Shore, Seaside and Bayside. I have learned in recent weeks and just can't wait to explore some of the opportunities that are there for ministry.
Yeah, I think I know that my philosophy of cabinet and DS is it's a 6-year gig. I served in Florida and in North Georgia, and they were used to just kind of having 8 years, just kind of rolled in that. But the Book of Discipline says that the term of a DS is 6 years with 2 years added for missional reasons. Yeah. And I really want missional reasons. And so don't be surprised, Virginia Annual Conference, that, 6 years will be pretty much the standard. But also, I want young people. I will tend to have younger DSs. I will have a huge mix because I think it's beneficial. And I guarantee you will never see the church again because you have a totally different viewpoint when you come into a cabinet room. Yeah. And so I have to confess, there are many days where I'd love to go back and be a one church pastor because I could always ensure one church would be healthy. But now you've got a whole bunch of churches and you're responsible for making sure they're all getting healthier and advancing and moving. Yeah. And so I think it's helpful for young pastors to come in and do this for 6 years and then go back in the local church. Absolutely. And then I think there's value for wise, older, very experienced. But I think there'll be a good mix, and I look forward to doing that.
Which category are we?
Yeah, I think y'all have done but I will add one reason that both of you were such strong candidates, in my opinion, is you have done stellar jobs leading local churches. That you have done fruitful work. And I figure if you can't grow one small church or one large church, I can't add, you have the skill set and you're wired for that. And so I think fruitful ministry is an important part of being a DS and one of the things I look for. So I know your folks are sad.
Yes.
I know there's a lot of weeping and gnashing of teeth in your areas.
Yes.
And, I do want to say thanks to the DSs who are rolling off the cabinet. I mean, gosh, they did a yeoman's task in these days of disaffiliation. But now we're in the cusp of a new year, a new time in Virginia. Yay! We can put disaffiliation behind us and really just start hitting the ground running. And I am so grateful to have your gifts, to have your insight, to have your local church experience, and to really continue to mold a team that will lead Virginia into new levels and arenas of effectiveness for introducing people to Jesus. That's what this is all about. Right. If we get distracted and do something else, then we're messed up. Right. So I count on you to hold me accountable. But how do we make sure? My goal is to make sure there is a life-giving, vibrant expression of United Methodism that anybody in the annual conference could get to easily. And that's what we need to not lose sight of. So I welcome you. I look forward to it. It's going to be a long 6 months when you have church and cabinet. But heck, by the time you hit July, you'll be like, woohoo!
This is easy.
Yeah.
We got this.
So anyhow, but welcome. I'm glad to have you, and I look forward to working with you in the days to come.